Hi all. This video lecture we are going to see about the classifications of sensor and few of the frequently used sensors for the IoT projects. So before getting into the topic that is the classification of sensors, let me first tell you what is a sensor. Okay, so when I say sensor, this is a device, a sensing device which may use some physical or chemical property. It senses the data, it collects the data, and a sensor will have a transducer which will convert the collected data into a measurable output or some useful signal with which we can perform the analysis. So, in short, we can say sensors helps to measure and report a data. When I when we come to the classification of sensors, there are different classifications based on the input, based on the output, and maybe based on the data. Okay, so based on the input, the sensors can be classified as a passive sensor and active sensor. So a passive sensor or sensors which cannot independently sense the input. Few of the example for passive sensors are soil moisture sensor, accelerometer, water level sensor, etc. When it comes to active sensor, these sensors can independently sense the input. So here are few example: laser, altimeter, sounder, radar, or few active sensors. Then when it comes to the output, like analog sensor will produce the output in some form of a continuous function of its input parameter. When it comes to a digital sensor, the output of the sensor is going to be in the binary nature. Example for digital sensor is passive infrared sensor and digital sensor. And the third classification is scalar and vector sensor. The scalar sensor will detect the input parameter only based on the magnitude, and the output is going to be a function of magnitude of some input parameter. So example for scalar sensor is strain sensor, color, smoke sensor, gas sensor, etc. And when it comes to vector, the output of the vector sensor will depend on the magnitude of the direction and the orientation of the input parameter as well. So example for vector sensor is gyroscope, accelerometer, magnetic field, motion detector sensor, etc. So we will see some 4 or 5 types of sensor which is most frequently used in the IoT based projects. So first one is temperature sensor. So by the name, we can easily infer this is going to be a device which will monitor and track the temperature. So it gives the output in the form of an electrical signal. Okay, so you can look at the diagram here. These are all some of the temperature sensors. Okay, and here the electrical signals will be in the form of a voltage, and this will be directly proportional to the temperature measurement. Example of a temperature sensor, you can take RTD, resistance temperature detector, thermocouple, etc. So these are few temperature sensors. Then the second sensor is proximity sensor. This is help you to detect the presence of an object or maybe a person without a physical contact. When it comes to proximity sensor, there are about 2 types. One is active and passive. In active proximity sensor, this will affect an infrared rays or ultrasonic energy will be emitted, and when it touches any obstacle, then it bounces back. So based on infrared rays or ultrasonic energy, then we say it as active proximity sensor. Whereas if we are using an inductive loop, that will generate an EMF, electromagnetic field, which is capable of detecting the obstacles within some particular range, then we say that as passive proximity sensor. So you can look at the diagram. These are some of the examples of proximity sensors. And then the third is a pressure sensor. Pressure sensors will help you to find out or detect the changes in a gas or a liquid. So when there will be some pressure range which is being set, and if it goes beyond the threshold value, then an alert will be generated. So this can be used for testing the leaks. It can be used to find out the pressure of the liquid filled in the vehicles, etc. Okay. So example for a digital pressure sensor is BMP 180. This is one type of sensor which is found in the cell phones and the GPS navigation devices. And the next one is humidity sensor. This sensor will help you to measure the amount of water vapor available in the air. Okay, so this the uses of humidity sensor includes heating and air conditioning systems and weather monitoring and predictions. Here, these are the areas where we use the humidity sensors. Then the fifth one is accelerometer sensor. This sensor helps to detect the orientation of an object and maybe the rate of change in the orientation of the object, maybe like a tap or shake or tilt. That is also detected using the accelerometer sensors. So these are all few of the frequently used sensors. There are a lot other sensors as well. So this video lecture, I thought of covering the classifications and some of the major sensors which is being used. Okay, thank you.